everybody, it's Puddy Kitia, and this is our final look at the Digital Homicide games that were taken off the Steam store. Now because of that, Digital Homicide does not have the money to pursue its lawsuit anymore, and had it dropped without discrimination, which means they can pursue it again in the future if they happen to have the funds. Now this is a story that actually dates back to 2014 when there was a major meltdown due to some YouTubers, mainly Jim Sterling, and some Steam users who called Digital Homicide out on a number of things, including asset theft, green light vote rigging, and just having overall really bad games. Now you can look that up, there's a ton to go into, but we're just here to look at the games. The first game we'll be checking out is Devil's Share, which I feel like it should have an apostrophe in it, but it doesn't. It's apparently multiple devils are willing to share things like their flashlights and their keys. And this is a horror game, I guess, with zombie type things. You're told in the upper left what you're supposed to do, and there's these guys, and sometimes they walk, but often they just slide at you with their feet not moving, and you shoot them and they lose their retinas. So we find some keys so we can go to our next area. That's tricky. Alright. We've got the keys. Now we go to the store and we find the keys. And this store is really hard to get out of. You gotta jump over this case. If you do the wrong thing, it'll tell you that you need to go back and, you know, light the fires. And that was fun. That was a nice change of pace. Oh, we've got some floating cartridges we need to pick up for our shotgun, and now we need to go back to finding keys, find some more keys, and find the explosives, which oddly gave us another check on finding the keys in the upper left there. We place the explosives, and this game takes around 10 minutes to get through. I want to just let you know that's what you can expect, and that's it. We gotta wait for our next mission, which I don't know what it is, because it didn't give it to me, it just went to the title screen. So here's the silly mode. Your guns shoot different animals out of them. And yeah. Wasn't able to kill the worshippers though, so that was not a bonus. Next up we have Wyatt Derp, which is apparently based on Wyatt Earp. You got this old Wild West shootout type thing, and you can throw dynamite and use a shotgun if you are able to obtain those ammunitions. And yeah, if this looks familiar, it should. We even have a power-up purchasing screen here like this. So yeah, this is all very familiar because Withering Kingdom Arcane Wars, I believe it was, is the same exact game down to the upgrade shop thing. So it's not really anything new. We got these guys freaking out here on the side. I don't think they actually know how to use those guns. And after the first round, the weird thing is their guns kind of just disappear. They just shake their hands at you and bullets come out of them somehow. I'm not sure how that works. The rounds seem to be timed because I didn't actually kill them, and the bonus round started, which is just a bunch of skeletons walking around doing skeleton things. So that's something. They're freaking out again, and they still don't have guns. It's very, very weird that they don't have guns. I tried it on different quality settings, and they always lost their guns after the first round. And here we have a boss, also doesn't have guns. We're taking little X's on the screen as damage, I suppose. I think 4 or 5 of them indicates you're dead. And when he dies, he falls over and changes into a different model and gets tiny. So that's something. Now we're going to look at the sequel, which is Wyatt Derp 2 Peacekeeper, and it's the same exact game. It's just from a bird's eye perspective instead of over the shoulder. Everything else is basically the same. You have little X's indicating your loss of health. After the first round of people shooting at you with guns, they magically lose their guns and just start shaking their fists at you and somehow somehow bullets come out, so it's exactly the same, and no wonder that it has a much lower rating on Steam prior to it being removed. The boss, once again, is super mega big, but once you kill him, he gets small, he falls over, and he changes his outfit. So yeah, we got the same upgrade system and everything. Basically the same game. Deadly Profits. This is a dungeon crawler. See, we got a dragon here, and we can play. We got all this crap here, but let's just go to the campaign down here where the map is and select our dungeon, the only one we can play. We got a lot of different critters that we can fight. In fact, there's just tons of variety. We got big beetle things, we got rats, and we got all this stuff which you would think you could loot, but you can't. We got a kobold and an orc. Lovely, typical Dungeons and Dragon-esque type things here. Couple orcs here. They got these potions which restore health. This one had loot on it because it was glowing yellow. So yeah, you just eat this butt juice here and it gives you your health back. Lots of variety in the enemies. However, they don't actually seem to attack any differently, and they're all really easy to kill. You do have different spells that you can use on them. I'm shooting this orb on them that kind of stops them. So there is a small variety in the spells. I got this golem that I can summon, but he's not too bright. He just does a really bad job at pathfinding and can't seem to find the enemies that he's trying to attack. There's these rifts in the wall that you will eventually find, and it'll take you to a big boss thing, which ain't too hard to defeat usually. These dungeons are not really that hard to navigate. They're all just straight lines, and you just go through them. Eventually you find the rift, and you find the monster, and you take his loot, which isn't entirely amazing. Here we have another boss. He's a very uncanny valley looking manticore. Oh, very creepy. Not the best dungeon crawler, but wasn't the worst game in this lot. The Slaughtering Grounds. We have 3 different people we can choose, but you do have to unlock 2 of them and buy their weapons as well. We fight a bunch of zombies, although some of them don't even look like zombies, and some of them are quite cartoony looking, like this one. We got the Thing here, I like to call him. We got a police officer and a little Girl Scout brownie type thing. After you kill 200 dudes, this thing says it'll crush you. And it took a while to find him, but he's this big guy who I shot dead in like three shots. And I was like, is that it? And yes, that was it. And after killing 300 dudes, it says, I smell fresh meat. And we got this guy, who, if you may or may not recall, we have seen 2 other times in previous Digital Homicide games, so we're using those assets. It dropped a ton of money, and I'm not sure what was up with that, but I'm not gonna not pick that up multiple times. I don't want to spend time unlocking this stuff, so I just kept going at it until eventually I think the money actually despawned. I didn't actually pick it all up because it never got picked up. So I bought a bunch of stuff for my guy Snake here. He's all kitted out, and it does not seem like the health regeneration did anything, because I don't actually regenerate health, which would have been very helpful, but for whatever reason, it doesn't work. Now, as far as taking damage, it seems like the zombie doesn't actually have to be like gnawing at you. You just have to be within its radius, and it will get you. Now, you may have noticed the timer at the top. When it ran out, I went to this new zone, which was not really any different. It was just, it had rocks instead of fences, and just the same buildings, the same zombies. So let's take a look at the multiplayer. Of course, no one is playing, and we have all these dudes in the background, which are bosses. I wasn't able to spawn the last monster dude because my kill thing got stuck at 1,000 in single player mode. In multiplayer mode, it actually counts down, so when you hit 0, it spawns the last guy, which is this big devil dude who will swallow your soul. Now, amazingly, he did not die in 3 shots like the previous 2 bosses, and I tried everything. Eventually, I trapped him in a stairwell and just kept shooting at his butt. However, I was unable to kill him, so I think there might be something bugged in the multiplayer which doesn't allow you to kill the bosses. Lastly, we have Tantrum, which is the best rated game that Digital Homicide had on the Steam stores before being removed. Now, I'm not sure why that is. I have a few theories. The game is just you running around smashing stuff. Everything that has a big green and yellow break me on it, you're supposed to smash. Now, the score gets screwed up at the top there. You can see the numbers were just kind of mixing together, and that does happen frequently. You're supposed to avoid these big red blobs because they'll take a life away and make you go to sleep. Now, my theory as to why this might be highly rated, maybe parents thought this was a good game for their kids to play. However, I disagree because the way this kid handles, he feels like a little drunk toddler because he slides around, the bobbing, it just doesn't control very well, and in fact is very frustrating. You can see the way he sometimes actually faces the camera when you're moving him. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. It's very jarring, almost nauseating the way that this game controls, and I just did not enjoy it. And here you can see on the high scores, those jumbled numbers again, so just buggy as well.